Hi everyone, Jessica here. Welcome back to the second part of our discussion on hardships and relationships. And we're going to look at what the results of the poll were and have a discussion on that. So let's take a look at the first question that was in the poll. And it says, some relationships are very hard and face difficult challenges by difficult circumstances imposed by society. Out of the following challenges, which do you find the most difficult to overcome? And a major part of our discussions, and also kind of a theme with empty steps, is the idea that society can take your partner away, whether it's incarceration, it could even be death. It could be so many things. And if you look at incarceration, people do face a lot of the challenges that you see right here. And those challenges that some of those type of circumstances could face would be distance, judgment by friends and family, judgment by the community, social stigma, and even social rules that they might ask you, well, why would you date someone like that or something? So there's a lot of different types of circumstances. And also, one of the selections was poverty. So just being poor can make it harder to be in a relationship because you can't necessarily afford bus tickets, or you can't afford gas, or you can't afford to take your partner out for dinner. So that can become a barrier. And there's so many barriers that society imposes on us, or even something like unemployment. Like some people are seasonal workers, and they just can't find work for the winter months. And every time, like maybe they are dating someone, they have to explain why they're out of work. So let's take a look what you guys thought were the ones that stood out most to you in your lives. And what we're also seeing is that there was actually a tie between distance, which was 8 people, 30% 0.8, and a broken heart. I feel in my own life that having a broken heart is definitely something that is a hardship, because then it's hard to get close to people. And I'm sure many of you have experienced that as well. And then the next runners up was actually 2 things, and that was poverty. And again, in Canada right now, we have an affordability crisis. And that's where poverty can really come into things, where you're always on your last penny, and doing anything other than just like getting the necessities, gathering your groceries, things like that, paying your bills. It doesn't leave you much else that you can do for leisure activities with a potential partner. And the other one, actually, let me just make sure I'm getting this right, was actually social stigma. Now, that was only about 3 people for each, but it's kind of interesting that these were the ones that people identified. So social stigma can come to play in so many relationships, including LGBTQ communities. And some of the other ones that were identified were the person's past. So having a difficult past, like domestic violence, having a criminal charge, so many types of different things can impact you. And then the very smallest one here, oh my goodness, it's the light green one. Oh, communication constraints. And so it's kind of like when you're having so many struggles, communication can be a major barrier. So let's go down now. I'm just going to scroll down and see the second question. And let's see exactly what it says. Okay, so let's read the second question. And I put this question in here for you guys because I knew that the first question was very heavy, and not everyone was having some of the more specific circumstances in their life and in their relationships that might fit those type of issues, like the actual more serious hardship. So I actually put in the second question as a more generic question, just talking about relationships. And the question is, on a day-to-day level, relationships today are challenging because of, and the choices were trust issues, partners cheating, which is very painful, lack of commitment, not enough time, everything is too digital, which is actually something that's very stressful, especially if you're a more face-to-face person such as myself. The world is too fast-paced and people aren't who they say they are. So that's something that's incredibly hard. These are all things that are hard. And I think the thing that's really sad here, that even I myself has faced, and many of you have faced, we can see in the answers, actually 42%, 11 people said that trust issues were a major challenge in their relationship. So just trying to find a level of trust with the person you're seeing, your partner, or find a partner that is trustworthy. And then actually, to make matters worse for you all, 6 of you identified a partner as being cheating, which is very serious and painful situation, especially if people are married and they're living with someone that's cheating, and there's a lot of things that have to go on to resolve that situation. And then the 2 runners up, again, 11% 0.5 for both with 3 people, was firstly the world. Okay, let me just make sure I got this right. Yes, the world is too fast paced and not enough time. So like time constraints. So like thinking back on society, and like you have to kind of look at, when you look at these type of things, you can also try to make assumptions about society or see how society can relate to these things. And I think like the one that is saying things like not enough time, things are too digital, the world is too fast paced, is kind of the way that society is putting us, like putting our certain priorities first, which it's not to say they're not important priorities, but like work, career, education, all those things have people moving at such a fast pace that they don't have time to sit down and actually connect with people. And if you kind of go up to the first one, people are saying things like they're struggling with distance and things like that. That was 8 people saying that distance was a huge factor in their relationship, and that could be people who maybe are going away for school or something like that, and now their partner's back home, and like they're trying to have different types of priorities, and they're like conflicting priorities. And I think distance is something that can really throw things into an upheaval. And some of the other ones were a broken heart. So after all these things that you're going through, your starting place, and you can also see that idea of how a broken heart can affect your relationships in my song Love to Last. So those were basically the results of the poll. And very soon I'm going to be making another video so that we can talk about what you guys said about our philosophy discussions. So anyways, if you have further discussions you want to have, please feel free to share those thoughts in the comments.